Hello, everybody, and welcome to week blah 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 of the West Marches. God, I really should look that up sometime. I don't know. Whatever. We're continuing the adventure that started 2 weeks ago with Bardrick, Frey, Kellen, and Donald, and we are continuing. So here we have with us. We're gonna do very brief introductions today. We of course have Shannon playing the role of Bardrick Bardison, the half elf bard.
Yep.
No, half elf, halfling bard. Ezekiel the third playing Kellen Wildlight. Trump playing Donald Bartholomew, and Kaitlyn playing Freki. And Freki is a warlock. Donald Bartholomew is a noble, and Kellen is a ranger. So, do you all remember what's happened so far? Who knows what's been going on in the world of the West Marches?
Well, we just left off when we were in a tower that does have a library of sorts in it, but we're talking to these really weird plague doctor-esque scriveners,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we've just asked for a book, but we're not really giving them enough specifics on exactly what kind of book because we're all a little paranoid at this point. I'm not too sure if our paranoia is properly founded or not, so
Yeah,
we'll
you guys
find
were
out.
you came to the Tower of the Scriveners and they brought you into the entry room and they sat you down or they put you across from a table and one of the Scriveners walked in. He was wearing a big black robe with a big white stole around his shoulders and he had just a featureless bird face, just a long proboscis beak dipping down to his sternum. And he took your notes from you and you asked him to recover a book about the night. That's kind of all you said. You said we're researching about the night, and he stood up and he spoke and said, I forget what exactly he said. He said like, "Hold on,
Yeah.
wait here, please." Basically, yeah. Okay, so he's just stepped out. What are you all doing in the meantime?
Um, what
So,
does the room look
in the
like? I forget what
Yep.
it's
now,
exactly.
It's long. It's probably 20 or 30 feet long, 10 feet wide. There is a small wooden desk in the middle of the room, a single lantern lit on the desk. There's a couple of sheets of paper, blank paper, sitting on the desk with a pen and an ink pot on the desk as well.
Okay.
There's a chair on the other side.
so we went in one side, and the guy left the other side into the main tower, supposedly. And this is kind
Yes,
of like a visitor holding room thingy.
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. I'm gonna go try to scramble up into the chair. Sit in the chair.
Okay. Yeah. Totally. You scramble up in, and there you are, sitting in the chair. Your legs dangle a little bit. They don't quite reach the ground.
Using thaumaturgy, I drain out. There's only one candle on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drain out the light slowly, and
Oh,
then a
wow.
figure leaves my cloak and
Okay.
dashes after the unknown man. And then I
Mhm.
bring the flame back, but I have it kind of beat pulse.
Were you trying to do this as the man was leaving the room?
Or after the fact. Is there a door?
Yeah, there's a door. So if you're doing it after the door is closed, then the door is closed. But if you're trying to do it while he's exiting the room, that's something you could do.
Okay, I'll go for that one.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why don't you roll a stealth check?
Can you detect invisible beings?
Nice. Look at that. Yeah, okay. So as the man stands, turns, and walks to the door, he turns the handle on the door and pushes it out into the tower. You can all glimpse just beyond a large expanse beyond the door. You can see far away a facing row of stacks of bookshelves far away through the door. The door is swinging shut, and Freki, that's when you drain the light out of the lamp. The man pauses and he looks back at you, Freki, and then you hear a voice echo in your mind, and it says, "Please take caution." And then he turns and he closes the door. And of course, your familiar was able to slip out through the door in that time period.
Do we all hear that?
I think it's only directed to Freki.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Creepy.
Yep.
Is it obvious to us what Freki did?
It's obvious to you that she drained the light out of the lantern, but it's not obvious that her familiar has departed.
Okay. As the door closes, I wait something like 10 seconds, and then I walk up to it and I kind of just check the handle, see whether or not it's locked.
Yeah, it's not locked.
Okay. Now I go back to take a seat and kind of just wait for the books.
Okay. Now, Frecky,
Oh, I'll check the other door too, the one that we came in. Is that
Yeah.
also unlocked?
Also unlocked.
Right.
Yeah.
So cautious.
You
So
never
Frecky-
know with these bookish types. They seem a little spooky to me.
I
Not
feel
like
at
you,
home
of course,
here.
Frecky.
How do you suppose they eat?
I believe they read the books and devour knowledge.
I don't suppose that tastes very good.
That's why they're cooking books.
Just a
Frecky.
quick question, Frecky. Was that necessary for you to do that?
With the fire, and I drain it out completely again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just wondering if there was a reason behind you doing that. I'm really not sure that just letting magic fly about willy-nilly is the best course of action. I mean, unless there was some sort of reason for it.
No reason. Sometimes your magic just encapsulates you and surrounds you. And then also using thaumaturgy, I start creating like really faint tremors in the ground.
I feel like it's an earthquake starting.
Maybe
Do you feel that?
not. Maybe. Okay. I mean, listen. I'm sorry. I provoked you. I don't want anything to jeopardize our mission. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying.
Oh, that was you. Oh, you caused the earthquake.
We're safe.
Huh. Maybe we should
I
do that when we fight bad things so that the world eats them.
we could try. We could experiment now if you want.
Nah,
Maybe not.
not now.
Maybe outside. I mean, we know what happens when we, do things or touch things that maybe we shouldn't, and bad things happen. So maybe we sit and maybe someone tells a story or something.
Is there another chair?
No,
Wait,
there's
wait,
only
wait.
one chair.
Before we start talking about stories, let's keep mindful of the people here. They asked us to be quiet, so
Oh, right.
we'll
right,
keep
right.
it down. We don't want to disturb them.
We can all sit quietly as well until they come back.
Okay, but before we sit quietly, can I just say, in my own defense, I didn't know touching the clock was going to do anything, okay? Can you just let that
That is not the point.
go,
The point is
Helen?
not that it wouldn't do anything. It's that you didn't know
Can you
what
let
you
it
were
go?
touching.
Can you let it go?
The door opens, and you all hear echoing in your mind.
Sorry.
The man steps back in the room from before, same white stole. His face is featureless, so you can't really tell if it's the same person from before, but he's wearing the same clothes. He steps in, and he gestures to the four of you with his hand, and he just crooks a finger, and you hear "follow" in your mind.
I kind
Give
of
a
shuffle
thumbs
off
up.
of the big chair and start following.
Yeah.
I
So
lessen the tremors.
he opens the door leading into the tower, and now that you're moving towards it, you can see the entire insides of the tower, the innards, the guts of this place. So you're on the ground floor, and it's a large 200 300 feet across tower, circular in nature. All around the outside, the entire thing is lined with bookshelves, stacked from floor to ceiling, lined with hundreds and hundreds of books. Above you, there's a ceiling probably 15 feet up. It only comes out from the wall 20 or 30 feet, and then there's a large, hollow, empty section in the middle. And as you're walking across the floor of the room, you can see all the way up the center of this tower, hundreds of feet into the air. And there are dozens of levels to this place. You can see just on the other side, there are lanterns burning at locations occasionally, lighting the stacks. This books on books lining the entire insides of this place. The man that you're following leads you across the center floor. There are a number of scriveners in here. Actually, on the ground floor, you see. Actually, everybody, give me a perception test.
Oh, I haven't opened this up yet. Great. One
Frecky,
sec.
not super perceptive today. You may be paying attention to something else, Frecky. Donald Bartholomew has no excuse. Neither does Kellen.
Hold on. Maybe I'll save this all.
Maybe Bardrick
Oop.
is the one. Oh yeah.
Oh.
There we
great. So the others of you are gobsmacked at the size of this place. Just stepping in, there's this oppressive silence that hushes around you. Everybody is moving almost without sound. You can barely even hear the whispering of cloth on cloth as these creatures move about the insides of this tower. Bardrick, you notice that there are the people in here are dressed in 3 different styles. It's very hard to notice, so it caught your eye only because you knew to pay attention. Most of the people in here, you see probably 12 or 15 people in sight around the room. You see most people just wearing the black robe with nothing ornamenting them. You see some of the people, a few, maybe like 4 or 5 people are wearing a red stole around their neck as well as their black robe. And 2 people, the person that you're following and one other person in here, they're both wearing a white stole around their neck. It looks like the one with the white stole is actually directing the ones without any stole at all, the ones in black. And then the one that you're following is leading you across the room to what looks like a door on the other side.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm probably
and
walking.
Bardrick, there's one more thing you notice.
Okay.
The red stole and white stole bearers have silver chains draping out of their left pockets and hooking to their belts in the back.
Okay. So I kind of like yank on Kellen's like trouser leg.
What is it?
Hey, some of these guys got more bling than the others. See? And I start pointing to the red ones and the white ones.
That probably just denotes class, like it's like a military. Like there's captains and sergeants and such. I'm assuming it's the same way here with all of them being here. Some of them must be older and wiser, put in their time or something. Just keep quiet and don't touch anything.
Okay, I got it.
Nice. So he leads you to a door across the way, and you can actually see off on the right arc of the circle. If you had gone counterclockwise, sorry, from where you entered, you would have come to a doorway that looks like it leads to a staircase going up. And if you had gone clockwise to your left from entering the tower, there appears to be another doorway where there's a staircase leading down. These things curve following the curvature of the tower itself. He leads you straight across to another room. So let me
On our
see.
way there, do those doors look like they have locks on them?
No, they're open.
Okay.
They're open doorways. There are no doors in them. Yes. So yeah, he leads you to a door across the way. This one also doesn't appear locked at all. He turns the handle and pushes it open, and it opens smoothly. There are 2 other people in this room already. It's a small room, warmly furnished with a carpet as opposed to the stone of the greater tower. The walls have a set of small bookshelves on them with books lining the walls. And there's a number of tables, long wooden tables in this room. There are 2 folks in here, a woman who looks probably mid-30s. She looks kind of she has sharp-looking eyes, and bright flush on her cheeks as she sits reading from a book. Her hair is kind of tangled up and just put up into a messy bun. The other one is a man who is very tall and very slender, and he's simply walking around the edge of the room, brushing his fingers along all of the books on the walls. Every once in a while, he stops and he traces down the spine of one of the books, looks at it very intently, and then continues, brushing his hand along the walls. So, the scrivener who's been leading you gestures in the room, and you hear a faint voice echo in your mind. He says, "Please, take a seat. I will bring you the books."
Cool.
Okay.
And I just like shuffle up into a chair again.
Okay.
These are the first non-scriveners we've seen, right?
Sorry?
These are the first non-scriveners we've seen?
Yes, in the tower.
What are they wearing?
The woman's wearing a gray robe, sorry, with a blue belt cinched around her waist. The man is wearing leathers.
I happily take a seat, sitting cross-legged.
Can I tell by looking where she got that belt and how much she paid for it?
Give me a...
I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, I'm joking. It was a fashion question. Just being funny.
Okay.
Failing.
Good. Let's see.
Yeah, I'll take a seat, and if I can catch either of their attention, I kind of do a friendly wave.
Okay. Yeah, are you sitting like near or across from the woman, or are you trying to go stand next to the man, or are you just sort of waiting for them to look in your direction?
Waiting for them to look in our direction while we're sitting in a table of four, presumably.
Yeah, I think as you come in, each of them glances at the entrance, but then they quickly return to their own duties.
I purr at them. If Donald waves kindly to them, then I follow with the purr in their direction.
Nice. I think when you start purring loudly, the man turns around and looks at you sharply, and then he turns away and mutters something under his breath. He keeps patrolling the edge of the room. Moments pass. The scrivener returns. He has 3 books held in his arms. He walks over to your table and sets them down, laying them out in front of you. And he says, "If you need anything else, please." And he places a bell down on the table. He says, "Ring this bell." And then he retreats, withdraws, and closes the door behind him.
Wait, as he retreats, I take a very quick glance at the book titles.
Okay. None of them is the Book of Night with Moon. One of them appears to be about constellations. One of them appears to be about cosmology of the sun and nighttime. And one of them appears to be about creatures that frequent, nocturnal creatures, basically.
I kind of do a gesture before he fully leaves. We have some paper to communicate with still, yes?
Sure, yeah. There's paper on each of the tables, yeah.
Okay, I write, this constellation book looks promising. Do you have more about the night and perhaps something to do with the moon?
Are you trying to disguise your true intentions here?
No. It is exactly as I said.
Okay. Yeah, he turns and faces you, his face facing directly at yours for a moment, his head slightly cocked in a very bird-like way.
Whatever
And then he
face has.
says, "I don't know what you mean." He turns and he begins walking away again.
So we heard him say that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that was broadcast.
So, okay, hold on. Sorry.
Can I exchange information with my familiar? Like,
Yes.
when the man comes back, I want to know if the human said anything to him when he... Because I wouldn't be able to hear his mind voice to other people. So the only people I would have heard are the humans, I'm guessing.
It seems like they can communicate through two methods. One is a general broadcast that anybody within, voice throw range can actually hear the telepathic signals. Yes, telepathic, not telekinetic.
That's right.
And the other is a direct whisper where only the intended target can hear the whisper. That's the kind of communication that you have with your familiar, by the way.
Okay. So my familiar would just sense that I want anything that I think's important.
Is your familiar back with you now, or do you have it still
No.
out?
This would be a quick exchange as we walk into the room with the man.
What are you asking for?
What was the man doing behind the closed door? What voices did you hear?
Yeah. So your familiar reports back, and it says to you that the man simply went and wandered the stacks, finding and pulling books from various bookshelves. Specifically, he was up on the 7th level. But that's all.
Okay.
He didn't speak to anybody. He didn't ask anything.
All right. Well, I'll walk up to the guy who's pacing around the room, and just I'll start with a hey
Okay.
there.
Yeah, he starts. He turns to you and says, "Oh, hello. Yes. What can I do for you?"
Oh, can we speak freely here? I was afraid that they'd kick us out if we were loud or if we were talking.
Oh, well, yes, it is best to be as quiet as possible. The scriveners, they don't like noise, but in here it is quieter and insulated from the outside, and yes, we may speak. Please, tell me if there's do I know you?
I don't believe we've ever met, though perhaps if you have any connections with nobles, you might have heard of me.
Oh,
That said, though, it looks like they have quite an impressive selection here. I thought that we were going to be able to browse at our own leisure, but apparently that is not the case.
oh, no. Generally speaking, they don't let anybody else browse through the stacks, but they have these rooms that they have selected a library that is available for us to peruse, and of course they will search out any subject that you are wishing for, and bring it to you here. You are looking for books regarding the night and also the planetary celestial bodies, yes?
Specifically with the moon, yes.
Oh, the moon. Well, I think I saw a book over in that corner which seemed to deal with the phases of the moon and specifically with creatures that react in various ways to the phases of the moon. Have you ever noticed that everything seems to get stranger when the moon is full?
Oh, yes.
Well, anyway, yes, that book should give you a lot of information on the subject. I think it was somewhere over there. And he points in the direction of.
Now,
I
I was told there would be a specific book, and I thought it gave enough information to our guide for him to get it, but he didn't get us the book.
You're looking for a specific book?
Yes.
Well, did you ask for it?
Now, I tried to be a little bit subtle about it.
Oh, why?
I don't know. I don't know
At
if
this
that would
point, I
offend
shuffle
them.
off my chair and I run over and I'm like, I try to be as, I really try to embrace how small I am and I try to be as meek as possible. And I'm like, excuse me, sir.
What? A child? Oh, good heavens. Sir, your daughter is bothering me. Please, attend to it.
No, he just means that he wasn't sure how to talk about the title of the book because it's for me. The book is for me.
Oh, I see. Yes, it's a children's book, a book about the moon. Is it
not
perhaps that great and famous tome, The Moon is a Boon?
Nope. That's not it. Although I've heard good things about that one. Yeah, we were just. I have a problem, and I need a book to help me. And so he was just trying to help me.
What
Maybe
problems
you
could a
could
child
help.
possibly have?
Well, I'm actually not a child, so there's that. But I'm just a little person, and I have a big problem. I've lost a friend of mine, and I'm looking for a way to help find her again. And I've
Oh,
heard
oh, an
tell.
imaginary friend, yes. Well, I've heard that if you drink a draft made of sparkle dust, you can. I'm sorry, I don't know how to relate to children. Sir, could you please get a handle of your child?
You're being very rude to my friend here, sir. Good sir. I believe what she means to say, though, is that, or what, yes, what she means to say is, are there books which the scriveners keep under lock that they won't loan out to us?
Oh, oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. Many. In fact, he sort of looks around and he says, there are levels not above ground, but below ground. And these are the levels which are not allowed to be accessed by any outside of the Scrivener's Order.
How does one get into the Scrivener's Order?
Well, one must be born a Scrivener, I suppose.
Oh.
I'm afraid I don't know anything about the lower levels because I've never been there myself, but I've visited often enough to know that yes, yes, the Scriveners keep a great many things in this tower that they don't let any outsiders know of or see.
What a shame. Is there no way to get a specific thing if it has been in the forbidden area?
Well, I suppose you would have to ask for it first, but then it's up to them whether or not they think that you are someone worthy of seeing the article in question. Do you have a special recommendation from someone, maybe the abbot, or are you simply knowledge seekers traveling the world looking for arcane knowledge of all sorts?
Uh, yeah, you could say we're just big fans of knowledge.
I do a little bit of. Do I know anything about the abbot?
I don't think you do. Have you ever heard anything about the abbot before?
I might have given my noble upbringing, but it is a little bit far away in the wrong direction.
Give me a history check.
Do I
Okay.
feel confident that I could disguise my voice to match a Scrivener's voice?
The thing about the Scrivener's voices is that they're telepathic. So you're not hearing them with your ears. And it's obvious, like you hear the voice in your mind, but you're not hearing it with your ears. And anybody who pays any attention will notice that they're not actually hearing it with their ears.
Oh.
History of 17. So let's see. Yeah, you know that Chayminster Hold that the dwarves now inhabit used to be an abbot, or used to be an abbey 100 years ago. And then the entire region sort of fell into disarray and people started dying for reasons unknown. There was some sort of plague or something that swept through the hold and killed off the vast majority of the population. The abbot at the time was named Henrik, but he was reported to be one of the first dead. And there's never been an abbot since. And now the dwarves have reclaimed Chayminster Hold itself and begun digging down in the deeps.
Was the
Well,
abbot not a
okay.
dwarf then?
No. The dwarves are a what would we call it? They're a race that moved into the place that was already existing, but it was abandoned. So they moved in.
So I'm sitting here staring at these three books. Those guys are out talking to whomever.
Yeah.
I'm going to ring the bell.
Okay. You ring the bell. There's no sound.
I figured there wouldn't be, actually.
Okay.
I figured it'd be like a telepathic like alert system or something.
Totally. Yeah. Shortly, the door opens, and the man from before with the white stole comes in the room. He looks straight at you, and you hear his voice in your minds, all four of you. Yes, hello.
I believe that I'm here for a reason. I want to be
He-
straight with you.
He enters the
And-
room and pulls the door closed behind him and walks over towards you and says, "What do you think is the reason for your presence here?"
I had a vision sent to me by
Rona?
I have it written down. I just can't remember the name. Yes. No. Was it Rona?
Might have been.
Okay. Sent to me by the gods, I'll just say.
Sure.
And we're here for a book. The name of the book is The Book of Night with Moon. And I was sent here, or I find myself here, to retrieve that book because a companion of ours has lost their life. We are set and determined to return it to her.
Mm.
And this is one step along the way.
The man
And you help me.
The man shakes his head slowly, and you hear a gentle voice enter your minds, and he says, "My child, I've never heard of such a book."
Crap.
Can I do the insight roll to see if he's lying or whatever?
Absolutely.
We hear him say that too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm totally gonna try to figure out if he's lying or not.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
that is like that is crestfalling information.
Yeah, you can all make
Insight's
insight
awful.
rolls if you like.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I don't know anything. I can't figure him out at all.
Frecky, are you going to see if you can tell if this guy's lying or not also?
Can you remind us also on the info that led us there? So the hag told us that the book would be here, yes?
Yes, Hextia told you that the Scriveners have a book called The Book of Night with Moon.
Hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't know what you're talking about.
What was this guy's robe color? Maybe he's not important enough.
He's got a black robe with a white stole.
Oh, he's high up.
Now, was he ordering around the guys with the red or not?
You didn't see this guy doing it, but the other guy outside with the white stole, he was.
Okay.
So I
We
kind
were
of
told by a
I-
very reliable source that this was the place to find the book or find at the very least, find information about that book. Do you have a head librarian, possibly, that we could discuss this with?
He
I mean, no disrespect to you, of course.
the top of his face actually, because it looks like his entire face is made out of like bone or chitin or beak or something like that. So it's very strange when you see this happen. But the top of his face furrows a little bit in the shape of a frown, and he looks at you. He says, "Let's see. Whoop." Yeah, he says, "Those of us who have attained my rank are all equal owners in the Scrivener's Tower. I am afraid I don't know the book of which you speak. I have never heard of such a title. There are no other books that deal with the night and the moon here in this tower. I have brought you our collection. There are other books that deal with only the night or only the moon. Do you seek a specific subject?"
No, we seek a specific book.
He spreads his hands and shakes his head sadly and says, "I am sorry."
Hmm.
He turns around and begins moving towards the door.
That is
so
truly distressing.
He opens the door and strolls out, closing it quietly behind him.
Hmm.
so I go over to Kellen and I whisper to him, like, what if he was lying?
Didn't seem to be lying to me, but he
But
could
he's
also.
so smart. He's read books. Maybe he's read books on how to lie.
Well, just because. Well, even if he isn't lying, even if he isn't lying, He might not even know that the book exists here. In the deep. There might be sections of the library that he is unaware that exist.
I'm not stopping.
No, I never said I just stop.
Hextia said it was here. It's here. If he doesn't know where it is, maybe none of them do. Maybe it's buried somewhere. I want to go downstairs.
During his interruption, of course, that interrupted our conversation, but I then mentioned to the guy, hey, would the Scriveners lie about this type of thing? You seem to have a lot of experience. Would they hide information deliberately?
He looks over his shoulder, looks around the room, turns to you, and steps closer in a more conspiratorial tone. He's actually quite tall. He's taller than you and very thin. He bends over, he looks at you, he says, Scriveners, they have their own purposes. If something you seek is contrary to those purposes, they will not speak truthfully regarding it. It's possible this book exists, but do you know what it is you seek? Beyond the title, do you know anything about this book?
I kind of recalled, did Hexia say she needed it in order to resurrect someone, or was it kind of like an additional payment type thing?
She wasn't entirely clear about that fact.
I believe, I say, that this book has some information on how to bring back a long-lost friend of ours.
So, a book of necromancy, then?
Sounds like it.
Depending on the specific book, that could be a very dangerous artifact, and if it were, I'm sure the Scriveners would not want to speak of it. But if that is the case, it makes sense that they would have it and not speak of it to you. It's plausible.
What a shame. Has any non-Scrivener ever managed to gain access to the lower levels?
Oh, I have no idea.
I want to speak from directly behind him, as if I've flanked him while Donald was talking to him.
Yeah.
So right in his ear, I say, are you being held captive by the Scriveners? Do you need us to release you?
Oh my. Are you actually behind him, or are you like throwing?
Yeah,
your voice
directly
to-
behind him. I'm bending my head around, so I speak right into his ear.
Yeah. What did you ask exactly?
If he's enslaved by them and he needs our help.
He shakes his head. He says, "No. I'm here to further my studies. Yes, I am reading all about the natural world, and the Scriveners have the best resources. No, I'm quite happy here and not at all under duress."
You can trust us.
He looks down at you. He says, "Well, I barely know you. I have no reason to trust you or not to trust you. There's, everything's fine." He goes back to looking at the bookshelves and walking away and like touching the spines of the books, muttering to himself, pulling out a book and like reading a few pages before putting it back in.
I follow him, not too closely, but I just follow him purring.
Okay. Yeah, Kellen, what are you doing at this point?
I'm thinking. I'm thinking of how to figure out if. Well, I mean, I got to do it in game anyway. Let me ring that bell one more time.
Yeah. Okay. You ring the bell.
Wait, don't. Okay.
You ring the bell, and the door opens presently, and the Scrivener steps back in. He looks at you quizzically and says, "Yes? Is there something you want?"
I'm terribly sorry to keep bothering you. But as you can see, this book is very important to us. How long have the Scriveners been at this tower?
He looks down into the side and then back at you, and he says, 483 years.
And did the dwarfs, when they came back to this place, Were you here the whole time, or did they give you the tower back?
We have been here at the Scrivener's Tower for the entire duration of our presence here. Would you like a book on the history of Chayminster?
No, that'd be quite all right. I'm more of the word of mouth storytelling ilk. I guess my question would be has this place ever been raided or ransacked by any outside forces that may have stolen the book or any books from you?
He sort of turns his head to the side and says, "We Scriveners are a peaceful sort. We have never had troubles. We take little from the surroundings, and we offer much. Anybody who has come through has seen it fit to negotiate with us rather than to fight. There is no reason to battle over knowledge."
Wise there.
Yeah.
I also, if we can't find this particular book with this specific title, if we were going to go about resurrecting a friend, like I have told you, I'm sure there are many books on the topic. Perhaps a book of with a recipe in it.
You seek
Step-by-step instructions on how to resurrect someone from the dead.
you seek a spell book.
Perhaps.
Yes, of course. There is a fee for accessing our books of spells.
Okay.
It is 300 gold pieces.
300 gold pieces to access the spell book.
Yes?
Okay.
Of course, we would leave it in here with you for as long as necessary to copy whatever spells you wished.
Let me ask you one final question. Were I to copy said spell of resurrection, who would be able to cast it from a scroll? Is that anybody?
This magic you speak of is powerful necromancy. You would need a wizard or a cleric of extreme potency to be able to render the words into power. Now, I have business to attend to. Please, do ring if you need anything else. And he turns, opens the door, slides out, and closes it again. Now, Frecky, you hear a voice from your shoulder whispering into your ear. It says, "They lie."
Is this on my shoulder or telepathically?
It's on your shoulder.
Okay.
It's on your shoulder telepathically.
Looking forwards, I grin and I say, I know.
They spoke to each other about the book. They have it.
On which floor?
It is far below, not stored within the bookshelves. There is a room. It is locked.
And they use the chain? The key is on the chain in their pocket?
I followed the man downstairs. There are 2 doors. The first opens with a geometric key. The man I followed did not have one. He got a companion to provide the key. There is a second. It opens with an iron key. The man I followed had that key.
Are they weak-willed?
I am not certain.
Okay.
So while you all are all sitting around talking, thinking, digesting, let's find out what Bardrick's up to. Bardrick.
Hi.
So you see, arcing around to your right, the stacks moving off in the distance. It's very dim in here. Off to the right of you, there is that staircase leading up. And off to the left, there's that staircase leading down. There's a small cluster of scriveners off in the center of the room. All of them are stood around a lectern. The other white-stoled scrivener is standing there, and he appears to be reading to a group of red-stoled scriveners nearby.
Okay. So I want to slip into the shadows and kind of creep along the wall.
Yeah,
and
totally.
basically make myself as small as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And the second I see one of them open the door and start to motion downstairs, I want to follow.
Okay. So the staircase that leads downstairs, there's no door there. It's just an open entryway that leads to a staircase that goes down. So probably the easiest thing for you to do is just to like try to go down there, see what's down there, see if you could keep yourself hidden, and then wait.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So let's
I'm just going to hug the wall wherever there's the most shadows possible.
Yeah. No, you're feeling very small, very well hidden. These guys don't have eyes, right? You're not certain how they see or how they're aware of their surroundings, but they don't seem to notice you at all.
I know that they said that they read minds, so Bardrick's probably pretty good at this because she's not the smartest little tool in the shed. So she's going to actually just try to not really think. She's just going to kind of,
just
her
like blank
strategy
your
is just to
mind.
clear her mind as much as possible and just be tiny and dark and thoughtless.
Nice.
And just move whenever she can.
Yeah. So you go down the stairs. They spiral down counterclockwise, and you head down deeper into the earth. And when you get down to the bottom of the stairs, you're in a medium-sized room, probably 30 feet by 30 feet. There are a number of bookshelves in here and a number of like musty tomes sitting on lecterns or glass cases displaying an old and gilt illuminated manuscript. There's plenty of places for you to like duck behind or under or hide, etc. Now, at the end of the room, there is a great door wrought in iron and silver and strung at the top with boughs of rue, which is an herb. In the center, there's a large geared wheel that houses a puzzle cutout shape that looks like it would fit some sort of geometric object.
Okay. Are there any scriveners moving about in here?
No. It is empty and abandoned. There are 2 lanterns burning on each side of the door.
So I'm going to kind of look around any of the tomes on the tables or anything, see if maybe there is a spare key, but I'm sure I'm not going to be that lucky.
Give me a search roll or a perception roll.
Maybe you'll find the book.
No.
Okay, so you start searching through the room,
The tables are too high.
and you hear footsteps approaching.
Okay. I immediately duck underneath one of the tables as close to the big silver door as possible.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, you duck under the table near the silver door, and 2 scriveners enter the room, one wearing a red stole and one wearing a white stole. You can hear them speaking, broadcasting to each other, saying something like, "They asked for it by name. We must keep everybody aware," that sort of thing. When they get to the door, the man with the red stole, he reaches into his left pocket and he pulls out from it a big clunky gold object that's chained to his waist. And he presses a button on it and it goes chook and flips out open. And the pieces on the end of the gold object each splay out into a geometric pattern. He inserts it into the door and it fits perfectly. You can even hear a click as he slots it in, and then he grinds it to the right. And all of the gears on the outside of this thing, they all turn and spin, and you can actually see some of them just like whizzing around at just riotously fast speeds. And finally, he turns it one full turn to the right, and then the door goes and it slides apart, vanishing into the walls. And the 2 of them begin at passing through the doorway. Now, let's see. They are now in very close proximity to you. So let's see if they can see you.
Uh-oh.
You got a really good stealth result, so it's not likely. Mm-hmm. Nope. You're fine. They pass through the doorway and...
Is it possible for me to follow them?
yeah, totally. The door starts closing as they pass through it. Are you going to try to go through quickly and risk being seen, or are you going to try to dash through at the last minute?
Dash through the last minute.
Okay. Now, the door is closing not fast, but there's a steadiness to the rate at which it's closing that suggests that it's not going to stop if you're in it. So, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god. Save versus maim!
If we have the book, we can bring back both of them.
Come on.
Nice.
Just be okay.
So you're waiting. The doors are grinding slower and slower, or grinding closer and closer together. Finally, you dash through. As you're dashing through, your foot actually catches on the doors as they close closer, and you nearly end up spraining your ankle. But you wrench your foot out of the closing doors just in the last moment, and you pull yourself free as the doors close behind you.
And
Now,
I immediately go to the smallest, shadowiest area next to the door and try to hide.
Nice,
as
yeah.
I,
Now,
nurse
asking
my
for
foot.
curiosity of story, did they take the puzzle back out of the key?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's chained to his waist, so he ground it and then pulled it out, and the doors opened. So the doors, they close back again. Now, on this side, there's just a simple flywheel on this side of the door. There's no complicated lock or anything like that. Now, what you see down here, Bardrick, is very, very similar to what you saw upstairs. It's a large circular room with stacks and stacks of books lining the walls. The Scriveners are walking across the room, just directly across the center. There's no hole in the floor. There's no hole in the ceiling, unlike before. They're walking directly across the room to another staircase that's leading down. Are you going to follow them, or are you going to look at the books here?
Well, I would probably try to take this opportunity to follow them, but at a safe distance as much as I could, just so I at least know what I'm facing as we go down.
Yeah, totally. You wait for them to get, 2/3, 3/4 of the way across, and then you go tiptoeing your way across. You're still very, very silent. You are like Mission Impossible stealth mode right now. Those of us who are watching barely even see Bardrick. There are columns all around the center of the room, and she's flitting from column to column, sticking into the shadows, and generally being as stealthy a halfling as she possibly can be. You hear them down at the bottom of the stairway. Just when you reach the top of the stairway, you hear a faint jingling, and then a slight click, and then you just hear a...
Okay, I continue down the stairs as quietly as possible to try to see what it is that they're dealing with the key.
Now, when you get down to the bottom of the stairs are curving down following the curvature of this tower. You get down to the bottom of the stairs, and the door is swinging closed. It's just a very simple, plain wooden door with an iron keyhole and an iron handle, and that's all.
Oh my god, do I go or do I not go? I don't know what to do. I'm gonna... fuck, I can't hide them all. Yeah, can we just take a break? Is that okay?
And I walk out to everybody and I ask Donald, have you seen Bardrick?
I was just about to ask the same thing. I missed her very excitable voice. I wonder where she went.
As you all upstairs finally realize that Bardrick is gone and has been missing for quite some time, the entire time you've been talking to this Scrivener, Bardrick has been gone. Let's take our first break. We're going to go to a 5-minute break. We'll come back and we'll find out what Bardrick's decision is regarding the door.
Bardrick, the hero!
and what this team is going to do in the absence of their bard. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 5 minutes.